All right, so as promised, this is a video describing this sort of 90-95x combination and how that works. So to start off with, basically what it means is that there's two separate classes being taught together in the same Canvas room. We will be using the exact same books, exact same practice activities, and exact same reading. So there isn't a huge difference between these two levels, which is why as part of the English department, we made the decision to put these two classes together. All English 90 classes as of this fall are now taught as part of a 95X class. Now, I want to kind of explain the reasoning for that a little bit and then just how it actually plays out in our classroom. So the reason is that often, and I teach all of the levels, so I teach everything from English 90 all the way up through English 102. And what we have discovered, myself as well as other instructors that teach these different levels, is that a lot of times students may place into English 90 or feel like that's the best class for them, and it may be a perfect class to start out with, but they may not need to go through the entire English sequence to be ready to go on to that next level. So what this does with having them combined is we're able to give English 90 students the opportunity to show that they can work at the English 95 level, and then that of course demonstrates that they're ready to move on to English 98 or 101. So the benefits of this is we don't want any students held up with getting their degree, getting their whatever their direction is. If you're trying to transfer, get a certificate, a degree, we want you to be able to go through the Gen Ed sequence as quickly as possible, and this allows you to do that while still making sure that you're getting those skills at each level that you absolutely must have to go to the next one. So how it will work in our class, you will not know who's an English 90 and who's a 95X student. Like I said, they're so close to or so similar in some ways that it'll be hard to differentiate between them. There's not going to be any labels or anything like that. All assignments other than the major writing process activities, the major writing projects, which there are 3 of them in our class, all of the other assignments and activities, everyone will be doing the exact same work. Okay, there is not a difference. When we get to those big 3 writing project activities, those are going to have different instructions. And so there'll be one set of instructions for English 90 students, one set for 95X. You'll both be able to see both sets of instructions. Nothing is hidden or secret. And all 95X students just default. You work at the 95X level, that's where you've placed, that's the level that you're at. And so we want to make sure that you're following those instructions. English 90 students will have 2 options. They will get to either choose to work at the 90 level, or they will get to choose to try to work at the 95X level. Now, there's no penalty for trying for the 95 level. There's not going to be any sort of thing that hurts you in doing that, but we want that opportunity to be there. And in fact, I would encourage all English 90 students to aim for the 95X level. Doesn't mean you'll make it, but a lot of you may surprise yourself. And you may actually be more ready than you think you are by the end of the term, right? Not the beginning, not right now where we're starting, but by the end of the term. So once we get to that first major writing project, which I'll check my calendar, it's either going to be beginning of week 2 or 3, we'll start moving towards that. That's going to be the point where you'll see a difference in instructions. Other than that, nothing is really different between the 2 levels. It's really just in the complexity and length and development in those 3 major writing projects, which that's often what differs between the levels of English 90, 95, 98, 101, 102, etc. It has to do with the length and complexity of the writing. So it's not that the writing changes, it doesn't change. Writing is writing, okay? There isn't like some magical new thing that happens at each level, but what it does is at each level gives you more complexity and more ability to build out on some of the basic skills that we start with in the 90 and 95X level. So one thing I did want to note too is it's not just 90 and 95X that have this combined classroom here on our campus. English 98 and 101 is combined in a very similar fashion. So all English 98 classes are part of an English 101, and it functions for the exact same very sort of reason that we have here. So the idea is that hopefully for many of you, you will either be able to take 1, maybe 2 classes before being ready for that college level writing course. Now, there is a way, some of you may need to take 3 pre-college courses. It is a very small number of students that end up going that path. And a lot of times it's actually by choice that they want to take things a little bit slower and really just have the opportunity to kind of take in that information. But again, it's a pretty small number that ends up in that fashion. Many of you are actually going to make it in 1 or 2 terms. And like I said, that's because you just need to kind of get your feet wet a little bit, get the information out there as far as understanding kind of the basic concepts of reading and writing, and then you'll really be ready to move to that next level. So one last final thing, I would encourage all of you, no matter what level, do not miss assignments. That is the absolute sort of worst way to proceed in a college level writing class. Everything we're doing in here, regardless of what level, is going to build on the previous things done. So if you miss assignments or you have late work, that's going to impact your understanding, knowledge, ability to move on to the future assignments. So that's just kind of a side note. It doesn't matter what level. Like I tell my English 98, 101, 102 students the same thing. Doesn't matter what level you're currently registered at, just make sure you are completing all of the assignments. If you have questions, don't ever hesitate to ask. Myself or our class tutor would be happy to help you out with any questions. So that's just kind of give you an overview. I know it may be a different format for a lot of students. Want to make sure you're aware that, yeah, this is actually all 90 classes are combined with a 95 level course. It doesn't change English 95. It just is a new way that we sort of constructed these courses to actually help students out, to help you all out. So I am looking forward to working with you all this term, and can't wait to see what we're able to accomplish. So again, questions, please ask. Other than that, have a wonderful first week.